Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So I brought out my Doom Bull army against the same demon army that my son and I faced using his dwarfs just a few games ago. Rolled up the Dawn attack scenario, 2,500 points, and off we go. So this is starting on the far right. He's got a unit of demonettes with a herald. I don't know how the herald is equipped, and I don't think they have an icon in the unit. Um, Sorry about that. I'm going to get his list and I'll start putting them in future reports. Then on the left there's a Seeker, unit of 5 Fleshhounds, a Keeper of Secrets. He has two items. One is a Siren Song, and the other one, I want to say it's Soul Hunger, but he basically gets to reroll to wound. A unit of Bloodletters with the Battle Standard Bearer. Um, I know they have the extra D6 on their first charge, and their Battle Standard Bearer, I really um, don't know how he's equipped or anything. I need to get his list. Anyway, Herald in there, of course. Herald with the Plague Bearers as well. They have the reroll to wound icon. And on the far left, he's got a unit of Flamers, which I'm pretty vocal about. Flamers are like my most hated unit in the game, I think. So starting on the far left, we've got a Tuscarora Chariot, 5 Minotaurs. Then I've got a unit of 7 Minotaurs with my Doom Bull. My Doom Bull's out of this picture and the next. It's kind of funny. But he's my typical build. 1-up rerollable, gives him extra attacks, and always strikes first sword. So I've got a Horde of Gore, and they're full command but naked. So no extra hand weapon, nothing else. My Battle Standard Bearer's with him. He's got like a 5-up ward and a 5-point magical sword. Then I've got another big block of Gore in bus formation, same build with my Great Bray Shaman. He's just got a scroll, Lore of Beasts, another Tuscarora Chariot, and a Razor Gore being proxied by a Dragon Ogre. So he gets the roll for first turn and moves up, as you can see. During shooting he does... that's not during shooting yet, I'm sorry, that's just moving up. Yeah, during shooting he did next to nothing. I forget if he aimed at Minotaurs or what, but he did no wounds or 1 wound. So go to Beastmen turn 1, and I really felt my best chance here was just to stay back and really not move too much. So I did. Really what I want to do is be able to engage some of his armies, not some of his guys and not all of his guys. I've got the Amber Spear. I'd really like to get that off from my Great Bray Shaman into his demon. Even if I don't kill him, if I can just take away a bunch of wounds, that'll make it a lot easier to take care of him in combat. So over here we did a charge with my Tuscarora Chariot and my Minotaurs. There you go. The Minotaurs have 1 wound from shooting on his turn. They both charged the Flamers. The Flamers did a stand and shoot against the Chariot, took 3 wounds off of them, and then both those units failed their charge. And that's really going to hurt because my Minotaurs are just really fragile to shooting, and Flamers can just tear them up. So we go to Demons turn 2. Now remember his Keeper of Secrets has a Siren Song. I was really kind of assuming on his turn that he would force one of my units to try to charge him. I'm not sure it would have mattered because it probably would have been a failed charge anyway. But so he charged in, and it's always kind of scary because my guys were out of the General's Inspiring Presence, so they were Leadership 7, having to take a terror test. And they did get to reroll, but luckily they did not run off the board. Otherwise he moves up, as you can see. I'm not really sure what he was thinking about with his dogs. My guess is he thought my Horde would charge the dogs, get held up in combat, and then his Bloodletters would come into the flank of them. And if that's his plan, it's actually a pretty good one. This is my far right. This is Seeker, gets in with my Chariot. And yeah, that's going to be tough. I mean, reminds me of the Steam Tank in the last game, where really the best I can hope for is that my guys just hold out for the whole game. And I trust this guy's ability to take care of my unit more than I do the Steam Tank. Mainly because it's Thunderstomp. I mean, on a top of, I think it's 6 attacks, rerolling to hit, maybe 7 attacks, rerolling to hit, rerolling to wound, and then plus Thunderstomp. He just does a lot of wounds over the course of a turn. Otherwise, it looks like that. You can see his Flamers, he just moves them back to where it's very difficult to charge, but he still has plenty of range to shoot. Otherwise, just different angles. Then during the magic phase, he got Phantasmagoria off with Irresistible Force. That spell is brutal, especially when you're taking fear tests every turn. I need Primal Fury. I need to pass my fear test just to hope to do any wounds to him. He's likely going to be winning combat, doing so many wounds, And so, I think it's -3 to your leadership, even if you're steadfast, even with a reroll, is really tough. But he got it off. The good news is he lost 3 magic levels, so Phantasmagora is gone for the rest of the game. He only has 1 spell left, and if I remember it later, it doesn't matter. It just didn't really have much of an impact. So if I can just get past my this turn, and I guess my next turn of any leadership test, if I can get past that, then we're good. No more Phantasmagora, but it's really scary. Over here he decides just to shoot at the chariot just to get rid of it, which I think is not a bad plan, because my Minotaurs charge them. They'll do a stand and shoot. They'll kill a Minotaur or two, and I'm very likely to fail the charge anyway. So after combat, his Seeker has 2 wounds on him, which is nice, but he won combat by 1. I think he did 1 wound to my chariot, and he had the charge. I'm sorry, he did 2 wounds to my chariot. I did 2 wounds on him, but he had a charge, so he won by 1. I was leadership 7 -3 because of Phantasmagora, so leadership 4 without a reroll. Yeah, and then my Razorgore, who's leadership 6, -3 is a 3, so he failed his panic test, darn near ran off the board. And the blurry picture is just the Keeper Secrets jumping up and down at this Thunderstomp, winning combat, and me shaking in my boots that I'm going to fail, because again, I needed a 4. I was steadfast on a 4, but I got it with the reroll, so I can't complain too much there. So we get a Beastman turn 2. I take my Horde of Gore with a Battle Standard Bearer, charge the Hounds, and all the charges really just kind of worked out. My Doombull unit had to charge in first, but it could see the Bloodletters. It wasn't that far away. I think I needed a 7 to get there. And then my other unit of Minotaurs into his Plague Bearers. I'm kind of thinking I have a really good chance of beating the Flesh Hounds in combat this turn. The Doombull unit, I think, is going to chop through the Bloodletters. The other Minotaur unit against his Plague Bearers, I think, will win combat, but over the long haul, they may really suffer. I think in a war of attrition, they're going to lose that. But I'm hoping my Doombull's unit can help out next turn. So overall, very, very happy with that. I've got all my units, all my important units engaged in combat, and his Demonettes are in the far right. So to me, it looks like it's going to be a while before they can help do anything. So pretty happy with how that worked out. My Razorgore fails to rally, runs off the board because Phantasmagora is still in effect. Otherwise, it looks like this. And by the way, I put my Great Brave Shaman so he could shoot the lower version of the Amber Spear at the Seeker to get him off the table, because otherwise he's going to pretty easily kill my Great Brave Shaman. And then I have my Harpies over here to charge it, because again, I just need to do 1 wound on the thing. So we go into combat here. During the magic phase, I get Wyson's Wild Form off, and I think it puts a wound on my Great Brave Shaman. And even with that, I could only do 2 wounds on the Flesh Hound, and then he popped 2 more wounds through combat res, through his instability test. I was really disappointed with that. I really thought that if I didn't kill him outright, I would mostly kill him. So, yeah, was not happy with that. The Doombull unit, I took 6 wounds, but still just really tore him up. Just did a ton of wounds on him. Popped. We had to overrun D6 inches. And then if you look at the left, that was crazy. My smaller unit of Minotaurs charged in. They did a total of 4 wounds. They did 5 wounds. They killed 4 models, and they put 1 wound on the Herald. And he did 8 wounds on me, easily broke and ran down my Minotaurs. Now, one thing that happened there is I put 3 of my 5 Minotaurs into the Herald, really wanting to kill him. I really thought that I would still do enough wounds to win combat. If I could get rid of their 4-up regen and convert that to a 5-up ward, it would help me in the war of attrition. I could only do 1 wound on the guy with all those attacks. That would be 11 attacks. I did 1 wound on him. So that was really disappointing. I hate to charge in and bounce off, because it gives your opponent, just a lot of advantages. So in hindsight, I think he might have been better to reform those guys, so on his turn he could charge into the flank of my Gore unit. But regardless, he felt it was better just to get the points off the table. So we go to Demon's turn 3. His Demonettes do a crazy long charge and hit the flank of my Gore unit that's tied up with the Fleshhounds. So that's going to be tough. My biggest fear there is I won't be steadfast. Because he has 4 ranks, I have 5 ranks. If I do 2 wounds on him, he'll be down to 3 ranks, and I have a real good chance of being steadfast. So that's what I'm worried about there. Otherwise, I'm okay with it. My Gore tied up with the Greater Demon. You know what? They're holding out. That's all I need from them, is just hold him up as long as possible. His Plague Bearers charged my Harpies, and it would not have been a difficult charge to make. And had he made it, he could overrun and hit my Great Brave Shaman and or the unit of Gore with the Greater Demon and just end that thing quickly. So I fled with the Harpies right off the table. He couldn't see my Great Brave Shaman, so he just had a failed charge. So I was actually pretty happy with that, keeping the Plague Bearers out for another turn or two. His Seeker comes around to threaten my Great Brave Shaman, so I'm just going to try to shoot at him again. There we go. That's the Harpies running off. There's the Demonettes in the flank. And they're the damn Flamers, because they can move 12 inches any direction they want, any formation, and get a metric shit ton of attacks at strength 4. Yeah, they're a good counter to my Minotaur unit. So he does 8 wounds, kills 2 guys outright, puts 2 wounds on another. My guys are facing the wrong way. There's nowhere I can charge. It's just ugly. Ugly. Here's just another angle on the BSB combat in the middle. And when all's said and done, it looks like this. So we killed the rest of the hounds. Well, I don't know, through active attacks or through combat res, and it doesn't really matter. And you can see I did like 5 wounds on the Demonettes, which I only had 2 guys fighting. That's only 2 attacks. So not only did I not need my steadfast, I actually won combat. So he just didn't do many. Even with a charge and a flank and negating my ranks, I did more wounds than him and just had the battle standard bearer and just had more combat res. So I thought that was very lucky my way. You can see the Gore with the Greater Demon is still around. If you look at the top, that was me trying to be sneaky and really is an epic fail. Hopefully there's a close-up picture. So here I was able to march with my Great Brave Shaman, so I took him out of the line of sight of the Seeker, and we're going to try to Amber Spear him. So what I was trying to do here was make it so that anywhere he moved, I'd be able to see him and would be able to at least try to charge him. And what I did, I'm reaching across the table doing this, but basically, if he stays right where he is, I can't see him with either unit. It was the biggest epic fail I could possibly have done. So, yeah, that was great. So after combat, it looks like this, and I am not complaining. I've got the Demonettes. I know I'm gonna win against that. Really, I just need the Gore unit to keep the Greater Demon tied up. It's like I keep on telling him, just a little bit longer. Just keep on holding out. So Demons turn 4, surprise, surprise, his Flamers don't move. They stand right where they're safe and can shoot with no penalty. His Plague Bearers just move so they can start helping with combat's next turn. During shooting, yeah, he kills 2 of the Minotaurs, so my unit of 7 Minotaurs is down to the standard bearer. And by the way, I killed the Seeker on my turn through the magic missile. After combat, we pop the rest of the Demonettes, and we're able to reform. I love winning a combat on my opponent's turn, because it allows you to do whatever you want. And so being able to reform to face his Plague Bearers and do it in a way that'll be in his flank was really nice. I was actually tempted to go into his general, and then I came to my senses and realized I wasn't going to pop him. It was just going to give him a flank charge on me next turn. And yeah, these guys, they're holding up. I've got the reroll nearby, so they're leadership 7 with a reroll, and they're getting it every time, which is, I can't complain about that. So Beastmen turn 4. The Horde of Gore obviously charged the flank of his Plague Bearers. I tried to take the last Minotaur into there too, because if he's in combat, he can't be shot at, and he failed the charge. Otherwise, then I just took my souped up Doom Bull and brought him over towards the Greater Demon. In all honesty, my initial thought wasn't that I'm dying to get in combat with him. I know that if we get into combat, that'll be kind of interesting. But my fear was that this time he's probably going to take my Gore unit past Steadfast, and he's going to win. And what he might do is just not charge him, because not pursue him, because they're going to need Snake Eyes to rally anyway, and he could reform and just face my Bray Shaman. So I moved my Bray Shaman as far away as I could, and then if he did that, I'm going to flee with the Bray Shaman, and if I'm hoping that's going to be a failed charge by his Greater Demon, and then I'll countercharge him in the rear with my Doom Bull. That's why I brought him over. If he gets in a fight with my Doom Bull, at least that's a fair fight. I mean, that could go either way. So that's what I was thinking there. And sure enough, after combat, I had only a couple guys left. He decided to overrun and go ahead and get the points there. If you look on the left in that combat, we came in. He has one wound on his Herald. Otherwise, but that came from a miscast a long time ago, or Irresistible Force. So he's keeping his Herald out of combat, and we're just going to try to whittle him down. We have relatively few attacks because he's only 2 wide, and he's just going to stick in that formation. I think actually on this turn he tried to reform and failed the test, but it doesn't matter. From now on, I just choose to stay in that formation. Yeah, so it looks like that. I'm very confident I'm going to win that. I'm hoping, my only fear is I may not be able to kill him outright before the end of the game. So we go to his turn, and yeah, his Flamers move up and shoot my last Minotaur from the big unit. We fight this, and same deal, I'm winning. But yeah, they're not dead yet. We go to Beastmen turn 5. So on his turn, he turned a Seeker around and put him 1 inch in front of my general and just dared me to come forward. So I was like, okay. What I like about this is I get D3 impact hits. I'm frenzied, I believe, twice, and so I have 7 attacks starting out. We both have ASF, and so I don't get to reroll to wound, but neither does he. I'm high strength, and when he hits me, I've got a 1-up rerollable armor save, so I think I'm going to 4-up, maybe a 5-up rerollable armor save against his attacks. So I'm kind of thinking I have the odds here. He only has, and for every time I make an armor save, I get an extra attack. So I'm thinking this turn or next, I should kill him. At this turn, if I can get a few more wounds on him than he gets on me, I might be able to pop him through his instability test. So it's kind of an epic ending to a pretty bloody game. Very happy to see it. Over here, we keep on fighting. I think you can see I think I did 1 wound on him. And it's just, geez, I'm really hoping I can kill him by the end of the game. His turn, yeah, his Flamers can, of course, march 12 and shoot 18, whatever it is they can shoot. It doesn't matter. They shot my Great Bray Shaman. He was sitting on 2 wounds anyway from miscasts, and they did exactly 1 wound. So, yeah. If you look at the top, what happened, I charged in. I think I did 1 wound on him, and he did 1 wound on me, I think, and he took no wounds from instability. So, but I won the combat, so now I have a +3 attacks, which is nice. And then we go to his turn, and I do no wounds on him. He does 1 wound on me, and he wins combat, so I lose all 3 of my frenzy attacks, and now I'm worried, because now I'm down to 3 wounds, and he has the upper hand now. So now I don't really expect to kill him. I'm just really hoping I can survive this. If you look on the left, we finally took care of the last of the Plague Bears. Like we went 1 turn, only killed 1, and the next turn we killed 5, mainly through instability. So yeah, we got to reform, and now we'll get to charge the flank of his Flamers, which we do. The only problem there is I'm going to win it, but you know, he has 12 wounds that I've got to kill either through active attacks or through combat res, and that's just a lot. I don't know I'm going to pop him completely, and he's just going to save all his points anyway. Really, my fear, everything's kind of hinging on the battle of the Doom Bull versus the Keeper of Secrets. And yeah, he did 2 more wounds to me. I did no wounds on him. My problem the whole game was that in this combat, I couldn't wound him. I was strength 6, he was toughness 6. I needed a 4-up, and I could not roll a 4-up. And I think he ended up making 1 ward save, and I forgot that I could make him reroll ward saves, but it doesn't matter. It would have been 1 extra wound on him. I felt at the end very lucky to survive that fight. But survive he did. The Flamers also survived, so that was the end of the game. So really everything I have and everything he has is in this picture. Everything else on the table is dead. And it ended up being what I consider a minor victory for the Beastmen. So, real fun knockdown, drag out fight. Hope you enjoyed it.